In addition to marking fields as invalid, it is helpful to display a validation message providing details on what is wrong with an entry and how to fix it. There are several ways to display validation messages. One option is an alert box, but this is not a very good option for several reasons. First, it interrupts the user's data entry flow. The user must stop what they are doing and immediately respond to the alert. And second, when the user dismisses the alert, the messages are gone, so they have to remember the message details. Displaying a non-obtrusive message on the screen is a much better option. You can display all of the validation messages in a message area somewhere on the form, such as the bottom of the form, at the top, or along the right-hand side. But my preference is to display the validation messages adjacent to the associated input element, either below or to the right of the element depending on the layout of the form. Like this. The user can readily see which input element has a problem and what the problem is. To display the message to the right of the input box, use a span element. On the span element, use the ngShow directive to only show the message if the validation state is invalid. Notice that the syntax here is very similar to the syntax we used to mark the data entry field with the has error style. Let's add this to the edit form. Here we are back in WebStorm. The Product Edit Info View HTML page is open since that's the one we're currently validating. We want to add a span element within the form group div for the product name, so I'll insert the code from the slide. So this is adding a span that will appear immediately following the input element. It's using the Bootstrap classes help block and has error. The ngShow directive will ensure that this span only appears if the input product name on the product form is invalid. We'll add a similar block to the product code. Now let's give it a try. We'll try it with the edit form, so we'll go to Product List, we'll edit the hammer, and if we remove the entry here, we can see that the input element shows us that there's an error and displays the message to the right. As soon as we type in something, that message disappears. Now let's look at the add. We can click Add Product. Notice that the edit fields are immediately marked with an error, and the error messages appear right away. This is both distracting and somewhat rude. Maybe we should wait to display the validation errors until after the user has had an opportunity to fill out the form, and only tell them that there's an error if they actually make an error. We can do that by using the $dirty validation state in addition to the $invalid state. Let's do that now. So we'll go back to the Product Edit Info view, and where it has the ng class has error, $invalid, we're going to do an and we're going to and it with the product form input product name dot $dirty. And we'll do the same thing for the product code. All right, let's give that a try. So now when we go into Add Product, the message appears, but it's not shown in red, so it's just providing some basic information. Now when I type in something, the message goes away. If I then remove it, now it shows in red because now I've made the error. So now we've done some basic validation, primarily using the required attribute. But what about other types of validation, such as minimum length, maximum length? We'll look at those next.